And okay, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. You can have both feet flat on the floor and have them about a hip's width apart, so you're not tempted to cross your legs. And then feel the sensation of the soles of the feet on the floor, or in your shoes, or your slippers, or whatever, or on your carpet, whatever is underneath the foot. Feel the pressure and the weight of the legs and the feet. And then if you're sitting cross-legged, you're going to be feeling your feet underneath your legs. Otherwise, you'll just feel your hamstrings on the backs of your legs on your chair, and allow the pelvis to sink into the chair, the weight of the pelvis and your sits bones. So you want to be sitting on top of your sits bones, not behind them and not too far in front of them, just sort of sitting perched on top of your sits bones. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. Now imagine you have a beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head, excuse me, and beyond. And just relax your scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, and the cheeks and the area around the mouth and the back of the tongue and the jaw, and your ears and your inner ear. So someone at the YMCA asked me today, how do I relax my inner ear? So just imagine you have a nice, like a torch with a little yellow light, and the light gives off a little bit of warmth. And imagine you're shining that torch in your ear. And imagine your ear, inside your ear, just relaxing. This is just all to help you try and relax your jaw, by the way. And then have some length in the back of the neck. It sort of enables your chin to just drop down a little bit. Not too far down, not too high up, just somewhere in the middle. And then relax your shoulders. Allow your shoulders and your shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And then be aware of the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And just focus on those sensations for a minute or half a minute. And then be aware of any potential distractions in your environment, either from sound, from smell, vibration of people moving around your house. Sometimes you can feel the vibration of a truck rolling past. Maybe you have pets there. All this serves to sort of excuse me, distract you a little bit. Also be aware of any distractions that might be appearing on your screen. So, notifications, for example. So sorry about the coughing. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So your loved ones, bring them to your mind, see their face, the ones you don't like, and then your strangers. And just think they're all equal, these people. They all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we're going to do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So this evening, we were doing this meditation on loving kindness for others. And what a couple of people felt in the session, they were struck by this idea of not considering their own safety. So the first one is, may you live in safety. You think about others. And for some members of our community here in the US, that's become an issue. Whereas before, maybe we didn't hear about it quite so much. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. So when you're thinking about maybe motivating to do these meditations for others, perhaps you can think about those phrases as well. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, and equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we start with this four opponent powers. We're doing this practice in the context of the four opponent powers, this Vajrasattva practice. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience, and we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, rather than a higher power. And this Buddha has the methods that we can use to purify. We're not asking for forgiveness. We're not asking for Buddha Vajrasattva to come and take all this stuff away from us. We're doing the work ourselves. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, representing wisdom. The right holds a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and that being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So now, in order to develop compassion, this little section is underneath this section, main section on reliance. So we need to rely upon other beings to develop compassion. So the beings we've harmed and those who've harmed us. So think about people you've harmed recently or in the past. And then maybe in general, all beings you've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So I think we'll do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. So then we come to the power of remedy. And this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Juda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Juda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe ambhadrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam anupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe So again, feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech, and that includes yourself. And next, our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So this happens instantly, as instantly as flicking on a switch in a room. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and then all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges and depression and resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita juda meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Trida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me. Siddham Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabhawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Petita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabhawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabhawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. The nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of your speech. And then the light comes and blasts all of your delusions. And in this way, even the subtlest imprints of negative energy are eradicated from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabhawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pay. Now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And then we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and the final step in the purification process. And it's really crucial because here we make a decision. So you just decide, I want to refrain from harming. It's so simple. And this kind of wish, becomes like guardrails for your body, your speech, and your mind. It just kind of directs your mind in new and more positive directions. So think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. Some habit you have that might be harmful to either yourself or others. So think carefully about what you want to do and then decide to refrain from it. I would suggest you just think about the next 24 hours rather than making a promise to yourself for a year or something like that. And then in general, make a vow to avoid maybe some of the other things that other habits that you have. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. It's always good to question what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay. We're doing this, chanting the names of Manjushri, this text, for the swift return of our precious Lamas Rinpoche. Throughout the 3 times, the content of 5 skandhas, discerning clearly each and every moment, awakening in but a single moment, his basic nature equal to all Buddhas, with body bodiless, the best of bodies, with realization of the peak of bodies, displaying his form in every possible way, he is the greatest stone, the precious gem. 10. The wisdom of performing actions. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables yet born of mantra, arising from great mantra's threefold family. Everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lamas Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to live long, happy, healthy lives. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Lots of love. I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Hello.